Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about, for my research paper, I wanted to talk about relational dialectics theory and how it has applied to some occasions in my life. So, as far as this theory goes, what is it and whose theory is it? So, it was formed primarily by Leslie Baxter, which is a professor in the Communication Studies Department at the University of Iowa. The theory, the official definition given is it's a theory of meaning making between relationship parties that emerges from the interplay of competing discourses. So basically, Baxter's theory suggests that communication shapes relationships through growth or change, and meaning is constructed through information exchange. Similarities and common passions form relationships, resulting in what's called relational closeness. Differences can produce the same results, but interpretation depends on how parties exchange dialogue. So it's important to note that communication in a relationship is not just simply included, it shapes the entirety of the relationship. That is the main idea behind Baxter's theory. So what's the example I want to talk about for my life? It is my going on 7 years, 7 year long relationship, which began when when I was 12 and Anna was 13. Now I'm 19 and she's 21. So throughout the entirety of our relationship, we have been asked numerous times, like, how have we made it work? How are you not sick of each other? Stuff like that. Well, part of it is we know that tensions are inevitable, but we establish a firm foundation in our shared beliefs, and throughout these tensions, we always go back to that foundation that we've built. And we also learn to accept imperfections, which lead to greater mutual understanding. And this relationship being as long as it has been is not a bragging right because we acknowledge that it's not been without its flaws. There have been several breaks along the way, which I will talk about. So, as you can imagine, at the age of 12, I was not actively seeking a relationship. I had a lot going on at the time with school, but as upon further examination of this theory that we talked about in Module 4, I now have a greater understanding of why this happened at such an early age. I now know that it was meant to be. So breaking up was kind of on the table because neither of us had ever been in another serious relationship, again, as I'm sure you can imagine. So this has happened multiple times. And I have often struggled with the decision between ending the relationship or staying together. And the main reason behind this was I was afraid of not being loved in the same way that Anna loved me. But I eventually decided to go that route. Um, but I quickly found that it was never the same. So once I admitted to Anna why in the relationship why I wanted to do this, we again reached a greater understanding mutually, and we determined this would only make us stronger and give us a admittedly much needed refresh. And something that has always worked for us, that and set us up for success is before all else, we prioritize our friendship over intimacy. So we focused on a concept called openness closeness, which basically goes back to honesty being our number one policy. We're always very open with each other. We're always the first to share with the other what's going on. So some things I could have improved on. Truthfully, I feel as if I did my best considering the emotional turmoil I unfortunately put myself through. But I do feel as if I could have communicated better with outside sources because I've often ignored outside opinions. So I feel like this could have been improved maybe through talking with a licensed professional. I feel like this would have been a good idea and subtracted maybe some of this emotional conflict. And also, it probably wouldn't have misled Anna as much as it did, even though this was never a huge issue. And she probably would have better understood where I was coming from for the most part. So, the bottom line of all this is the centerpiece of relationships is communication. Again, going back to the beginning, this shapes the outcome of relationships. This is not just an individual element. This is what the base of relationships is. And this reiterates the idea proposed by Baxter, which is that differences in relationships are equally as effective as similarities, leading to greater future results.